Well, in on Wednesday is a very special day, being the appearance day of Lord Nityananda. Lord Nityananda is a very important personality in in our life, actually, and observing the holy days is a very important part of Krishna consciousness. Fasting on the holy days and remembering the different personalities involved. So Lord Nityananda, he's a very important person for us because without Lord Nityananda's mercy, you can't really make any advancement because he is the one that saves the most fallen and the most degraded. And in the Kali Yuga, everybody's in that category. So, we're all trying to please Lord Nityananda. Of course, Lord Nityananda, he was the most merciful because he saved the most fallen. And the whole history is described, which we'll talk about later. But to begin with, we'll read from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, because there's a whole chapter, there's more than one chapter about him, actually. There's a couple of chapters, more than a couple, actually. This is chapter 5 of the Adi-lila, which is explaining in a very great detail, and a lot of it can be very philosophical. But because devotees need to really want, ideally, to have a philosophical understanding of what we believe in and what we practice, because when we go out chanting in public, it seems very simple, but there's much more to it behind it that we need to understand. That Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya, they're the Yuga avatar. Lord Nityananda's as important as Lord Chaitanya, really, because we say Lord Chaitanya is the incarnation of God for this age, but at the same time, Lord Nityananda is the original guru, and he was the one that carried out Lord Chaitanya's order to go out and preach. So he is known as, he was the one that saved Jagai and Madai. Everybody was, maybe some of you haven't, but Jagai and Madai are the example of the most fallen people that he actually elevated by his association. So, but his description there in the Chaitanya Charitamrita is very detailed of who he actually is. And of course, he's Balaram, Krishna's brother. I mean, God, Krishna is the most important person in our lives. But at the same time, his brother is his brother. He's equally important. Krishna is the main star, but Lord Balaram is the main supporting actor in the the whole movie of reality. That so Lord Nityananda, we have to really understand who he is and try to understand his mood. And ideally, the more we can understand of the philosophy, the more we become convinced about Krishna consciousness, because it's a very logical, after you get over the initial kind of Krishna's blue, he plays the flute, he had 16,000 wives, but at the same time, it's all very logical. And so when we hear the logic behind everything, I mean, even Krishna's having 16,000 wives is very logical, because, those girls that he married, they were arranged specifically to be taken to another man's house, specifically so that Krishna would marry them, because nobody else would marry them. Anyway, so Lord Nityananda's appearance is coming up, and we need to really try to understand Lord Nityananda's significance in our lives, because the first qualification of a devotee is that he feels or she feels very fallen, very unqualified. And this is a very important understanding for a devotee to develop, that, we don't feel at all proud of ourselves or that we have any good qualities or anything like that. And a devotee gives all credit to Krishna. Whatever abilities we have, whatever talents we have, they're all Krishna's mercy. If we can give a class or lead a kirtan or whatever we can do, it's all Krishna, because Krishna says, I have the ability in man. So we have to remember that, and then we have to try to have the mood of feeling the most fallen, as we've quoted several times from all the great personalities mentioned the Chaitanya Charitamrita, that Krishnadas Kaviraj, who wrote the Chaitanya Charitamrita, he's constantly begging to take the dust of the feet of his readers. I mean, his readers must, be a whole wide range of different people, some of them probably not that advanced or qualified or special, but he, just because they're reading about Lord Chaitanya, he feels they're special and he wants to take the dust of their feet. But he also said, Jagai Madhoite, Munise Papista Purusharakitoite, Munise Legista, which is a famous verse, which Prabhupada quoted many times, where he said, Krishnadas Kaviraj wrote the Chaitanya Charitamrita because he was a pure devotee. He descended from the spiritual world, but still he had this mentality of feeling most fallen. As he said, I'm more sinful than Jagai and Madai. I'm lower than the worm in the stool. Anyone who chants my name will probably lose all their pious credits. And so hard to be humble like that. It's, humility is important. He's showing us how to be humble. If we read the prayers of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, we see the same thing. I was going to read out one week. I'll read out some of his prayers. He has the same mood. So really, we want to try to develop that mood of feeling very fallen and really in need of help from Lord Nityananda. So we're going to read this chapter, which is Adi-lila Ch.5. I don't know how soon you'll ever get to reading this by yourself, so we may as well read it, because it's very important to understand Lord Nityananda's position. So I'll say the invocation. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Vichachandra Jai Gaura Bhaktivinoda Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Vichachandra Jai Gaura Bhaktivinoda Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Vichachandra Jai Gaura Bhaktivinoda. So there's also a verse, Pancha Tattva Makam Krishnam Bhakti Rupa Sarupakam Bhakti Avataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakti Shaktikam, which is also a famous verse that is spoken by Krishnadas Kaviraj in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, where he's explaining how the Lord appears in 5 features. There's Lord Chaitanya himself, then his incarnation as a devotee, back to avatar. So Lord Nityananda is an incarnation of a devotee. Panchatattva become back to Rupa in the form of a devotee. So the Panchatattva are very important. And so Lord Nityananda, he is non-different in one sense than Lord Chaitanya. Well, he's an expansion of Balaram. Balaram is Krishna's brother. Anyway, we'll read some verses. I was going to read the whole chapter. There's quite a lot of verses, but we'll see how we get along. So one of us can start reading. we'll go around, take it in turns to read. We'll just read the English. So text number one, I'll read first of all. Then let me offer my obeisance unto Lord Sri Nityananda, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose opulence is wonderful and unlimited. By his will, even a fool can understand his identity. All glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all glories to Lord Nityananda, all glories to Advaita Acharya, and all glories to all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I have described the glory of Sri Krishna Chaitanya in 6 verses. That was in a previous chapter. Now in 5 verses, I shall describe the glory of Lord Nityananda. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is the fountainhead of all incarnations. Lord Balaram is his second body. These two are one and the same identity. They differ only in the form. Lord Balaram is the first bodily expansion of Krishna, and he assists in Lord Krishna's transcendental pastimes. That original Lord Krishna appeared in Navadvip as Lord Chaitanya, and Balaram appeared with him as Lord Nityananda. May Sri Nityananda Ram be the object of my constant remembrance. Shankarshan, Sheshanaga, and the Vishnus who lie on the Karna ocean, Garbha ocean, and ocean of milk are his plenary portions and the portions of his plenary portions. So in other words, Lord Nityananda is Sankarshan, and he expands himself into Sheshanaga, who is the support for the universes and also for Mahavishnu. So Mahavishnu, he lies on the Karna ocean, and then he expands himself into Garbhodakshay Vishnu, he lies on the Garbha ocean, and then he expands himself as Shiradakshay Vishnu, lies in the ocean of milk. So those are plenary portions and portions of his plenary portions. So he's expands himself into a lot of different forms. Lord Balaram is the original Sankarshan. He assumes 5 other forms to serve Lord Krishna. He himself helps in the pastimes of Lord Krishna, and he does the work of creation in 4 other forms. He executes the orders of Lord Krishna in the work of creation, and in the form of Lord Shesha, he serves Krishna in various ways. Okay, Sridham, you read.
In all the forms, he tastes the transcendental bliss of serving Krishna. That same Balaram is Lord Nityananda, the companion of Lord Gaurasundar. I have explained the 7th verse and 4 subsequent verses. By these verses, all the world can know the truth about Lord Nityananda. I surrender unto the lotus feet of Sri Nityananda Ram, who is known as Sankarshan in the midst of the Chatur Vyuha, consisting of Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. He possesses full opulences and resides in Vaikuntha Loka, far beyond the material creation. Beyond the material nature lies the realm known as Paravyoma, the spiritual sky. Like Lord Krishna himself, it possesses all transcendental attributes, such as the 6 opulences. That Vaikuntha region is all-pervading, infinite, and supreme. It is the residence of Lord Krishna and his incarnations. In the highest region of that spiritual sky is the spiritual planet called Krishna Loka. It has 3 divisions, Dwarka, Mathura, and Gokul. Sri Gokula, the highest of all, is also called Braj, Goloka, Swetadweep, and Vrindavan. Like the transcendental body of Lord Krishna, Gokul is all-pervading, infinite, and supreme. It expands both above and below without any restriction. That abode is manifested within the material world by the will of Lord Krishna. It is identical to that original Gokul. They are not 2 different bodies. The land there is touchstone, Chindamani, and the forests abound with desire trees. Material eyes see it as an ordinary place.
Okay, so we're trying to go back to Goloka. We go to Gokula Vrindavan first. So that is the spiritual world. We're trying to go to the spiritual world. We don't want to stay in the material world. Material world means birth and death. Okay, next. Okay, Shivani, you can read.
Text
21.
1.
21.
Yes. But with the eyes of love of Godhead, one can see its real identity as the place where Lord Krishna performs his pastimes with the cowherd boys and cowherd girls. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, the first
Progenitor.
progenitor, who is tending cows, yielding all desires in abodes built with spiritual gems and surrounded by millions of purpose trees. He is always served with great reverence and affection by hundreds and thousands of goddesses of fortune. Lord Krishna manifests his own form in Mathura and Dwarka. He enjoys pastimes in various ways by expanding into the quadruple forms. Vasudev, Shankarshan, Pradyumna, and Anirudh are the primary quadruple forms from whom all other quadruple forms are manifested. They are all purely transcendental. Only in these three places, Dwarka, Mathura, and Gokul, does the all-sporting Lord Krishna perform his endless pastimes with his personal associates. In the Vaikuntha planets of the spiritual sky, the Lord manifests his identity as Narayan and performs pastimes in various ways. Krishna's own form has only 2 hands, but in the form of Lord Narayan, he has 4 hands. Lord Narayan holds a conch shell, disc, club, and lotus flower, and he is full of great opulence. The Shri, Bhu, and Nila energies serve at his lotus feet. Although his pastimes are his only characteristic functions, by his causeless mercy, he performs one activity for the fallen souls. He delivers the fallen living entities by offering them the 4 kinds of liberation: Salokya, Samipya, Sarsti, and Sarupya.
Okay. So, what are the 4 kinds of liberation? Anyone can say? Sridham, you should know.
Salokya is attaining the same planet. Samipya is associating with the Lord. Sarshti is the same opulence. Sarupya is the same form. And then Suyuja is merging.
I've lost the place. Hold on. I got to find this again. What verse is it?
Text 30.
Text 30. Okay. For some reason, I lost the whole thing. Text 30. Okay. So Balaram, Balaram is a cowherd boy, just like Krishna is a cowherd boy. Balaram is a cowherd boy. Balaram lives in Vrindavan. And of course, many times when Krishna comes in different incarnations, then Lord Balaram accompanies him, like with Lord Ramachandra, he appeared as Lakshman. And he serves the Lord in different ways, as his bed, as his shoes, different things. So devotees, we're not trying to get any of these types of liberation. We're not trying to go to the same planet as Lord Narayan, or get the same type of form with 4 arms, have the same type of opulences, or merge into the body of the Lord. We're trying to go to the highest planet, which is where Lord Nityananda in his form as Balaram lives. Balaram also has his own gopi female consorts, like Krishna, but they're not as qualified as Krishna's gopis. According to the Chaitanya Bhagavat, There's a book called the Chaitanya Bhagavat. I may have mentioned it before. It's very detailed information about Lord Balaram, not Balaram, yeah, Balaram and Lord Nityananda. So, okay, Karunamrita, you can read now. This is text 31.
Liberation cannot gain entrance into Vaikuntha. Their residence is outside the Vaikuntha planets. Outside the Vaikuntha planets is the atmosphere of the glowing effulgence, which consists of the supremely bright rays of the body of Lord Krishna. That region is called Siddhalok and is beyond the material nature. Its essence is spiritual, but it does not have spiritual varieties. It is like the homogeneous effulgence around the sun. But inside the sun are the chariots, horses, and other opulences of the sun god. As through devotion to the Lord, one can attain his abode. Many have attained that goal by abandoning their sinful activities and absorbing their mind in the Lord through lust, envy, fear, or affection. Where it has been stated that the Lord's enemies and devotees attain the same destinations, this refers to the ultimate oneness of Brahman and Lord Krishna. This may be understood by the example of the sun and the sunshine, in which Brahman is like the sunshine and Krishna himself is like the sun. Thus, in the spiritual sky, there are varieties of pastime within the spiritual energy. Outside the Vaikuntha planets appears the impersonal reflection of light. That impersonal Brahman effulgence consists only of the effulgent rays of the Lord. Those fit for Sajuya liberation merge into that effulgence. Beyond the region of ignorance, the material cosmic manifestation, lies the realm of Siddhalok. The Siddhas resides there, absorbed in the bliss of Brahman. Demons killed by the Lord also attain that realm. In that spiritual sky, one of the four sides of Narayan, are the second expansion of the quadruple expansion of Dwarka.
Okay, so who is a demon who merged into the body of the Lord? Anyone can say? There was one demon that, what was his name?
Like Ravan comes.
Kamsa? No, not Kamsa. Can't remember his name now.
Shishupal?
Shishupal, yeah, Shishupal. In the assembly, he was blaspheming Krishna, and all Krishna's supporters wanted to kill him, but Krishna said, no, just wait. So after he had blasphemed 100 times, Krishna took his Sudarshan chakra and severed his head from his body. And then his spirit merged into the body of Krishna. So that's called Sayuja, which devotees, that's worse than death. For a devotee, we're not trying to get that kind of liberation. We're trying to become an atom of dust at the lotus feet of Krishna. So, okay, so maybe, Sid, maybe you can read now. This is text number 41. You have it in front of you?
Sid, I think you're muted there.
Sid? Okay, let someone else read for now. Lydia, can you read 41?
Sid's
Okay,
there,
I'm back.
he's just muted.
Huh?
I'm not muted now.
Okay, go ahead then, quick.
41.
Yep.
Vasudeva Sankarasana Pradumanyamana Anarudaha constitute the second quadruple. They are purely transcendental. There in the spiritual sky, the personal feature of Balarama, called Mahasankarasana, is the shelter of the spiritual energy. He is the primary cause, the cause of all causes. One variety of the pastimes of the spiritual energy is described as pure goodness by this
Visuddha-sattva.
Sattva. It comprises of all the abodes of Vaikuntha. The 6 attributes are all spiritual. Know for certain that they are all manifestations of the opulence of Sankara Santa. There is one marginal potency known as Jiva. Maha Sankarasana is the shelter of all jivas. Sankarasana is the original shelter of the Purusa, from whom this world is created and in whom it is dissolved. He is Sankarasana, is the shelter of everything. He is wonderful in every aspect, and his opulences are infinite. Even Ananta cannot describe his glory. That's Sankarasana.
Sankarshan, it's pronounced.
Shankasana, who is transcendental pure goodness, is partial expansion of
Nityananda Prabhu.
Nityananda Balarama. I have briefly explained the 8th verse. Now, please listen with attention as I explain the 9th verse. I offer my full obeisances unto the feet of Sri Nityananda Rama, whose partial representation is called Karana Dakasaya Sai Vishnu, lying on the Karana ocean. It is the original Purusha, the master of the illusory energy and the shelter of all universes. Outside the
That's it. Okay, finished, man. That's it, finished. Thank you.
Outside
We're doing 10 verses each. Okay. Lydia, can you read?
Number 51, text 51.
See there?
Yeah, can
Not
you hear me?
here.
Text 51. Outside the Vaikuntha planets is the impersonal Brahman, effulgence.
I can't hear you now. If you go close to your microphone or something.
Can you hear me now?
Can't hear.
Can you hear me now?
Not too well. Speak louder.
Okay. Text 51.
Yeah.
Outside the Vaikuntha planets is the impersonal Brahman, effulgence, and beyond that effulgence is the Karana ocean or casual ocean. Surrounding Vaikuntha is a mass of water that is endless, unfathomed, and unlimited. The earth, water, fire, air, and ether of Vaikuntha are all spiritual. Material elements are not found there. The water of the Karana oceans, which is the original cause, is therefore spiritual. The sacred Ganges, which is but a drop of it, purifies the fallen souls. In that ocean lies a plenary portion of Lord Shankarashana. He is known as the first Purusha, the creator of the total material energy. He, the cause of the universes, the first incarnation, cast his glance over Maya. Maya Shakti resides outside the Karana ocean. Maya cannot touch its water. Maya has two varieties of existence. One is called Paradana or Prakriti. It supplies the ingredients of the material world. Because Prakriti is dual and inert, it cannot actually be the causes of the material world. But the Lord Krishna shows his mercy by infusing his energy into the dull, inert material nature. Thus, Prakriti, by the energy of the Lord Krishna, becomes a secondary cause, just as iron becomes red hot by the energy of fire. Therefore,
Okay. Does Israel want to read?
yes.
Therefore, Lord Krishna is the original cause of the cosmic manifestation. Prakriti is like the nipples on the neck of a goat, for they cannot give any milk. The Maya aspects of the material nature is immediate cause of the cosmic manifestation, but it cannot be real cause. For the original cause is Lord Narayana. Just as the original cause of the earthen pot is potted, so the creator of the material world is the first Purusha incarnation. Karanara.
Vishnu.
Lord Krishna is creator and Maya only helps him as an instrument, just like the potter's wheel and other instrument, which are instrumental cause of pot. The first Purusha casts his glance and at Maya from a distance, and though he impregnates her with the seed of life in the form of living entities, the reflected rays of his body mix with Maya, and though Maya gives birth to Mirada
Myriad means many.
universes, the Purusha enters each and every one of the countless universes. He manifested himself in many separated form as there are universe. When the Purusha exhales, the universe are manifested with each outward breath. Thereafter, when he inhales, all the universes again enter his body, just as an atomic particle of dust pass through the openings of a window, so the network of the universe passes through the pores of the skin of Purusha.
Okay, well done. Okay, Aniruddha.
Okay. The Brahmas and other lords of the mundane worlds appear from the pores of Mahavishnu and remain alive for the duration of his one exhalation. I adore that primeval Lord Govinda, of whom Mahavishnu is a portion of the plenary portion. Where am I, a small creature of 7 spans, the measure of my own hand? I am enclosed in the universe composed of material nature, the total material nature, or total material energy, false ego, ether, air, water, and earth. And what is your glory? Unlimited universes pass through the pores of your body, just like particles of dust passing through the opening of a window. A part of a whole is called a kala. Sri Balaram is the counterform of Lord Govinda. Balaram's own expansion is called Mahasankarshana, and his fragment, the Purusha, is counted as a kala, or a part of a plenary portion. I say that this kala is Mahavishnu. He is the Mahapurusha, who is the source of the other Purushas and who is all pervading. Garbhodakshay and Kshirodakshay are both called Purushas. They are plenary portions of Karanadashai Vishnu, the first Purusha, who is the abode of all the universes. Vishnu has three forms called Purushas. The first, Mahavishnu, is the creator of the total material energy, Mahat. The second is Garbhodashai, who is situated within each universe. And the third is Shirodashai, who lives in the heart of every living being. He who knows these three becomes liberated from the clutches of Maya. Although Karanodashai Vishnu is called a Kala of Lord Krishna, he is the source of Matsya, Kurma, and the other incarnations. All these incarnations of Godhead are either plenary portions or parts of the plenary portions of the Purusha avatars. But Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. In every age, he protects the world through his different features when the world is disturbed by the enemies of Indra. That Purusha, Karanodakshai Vishnu, is the performer of creation, maintenance, and destruction. He manifests himself in many incarnations, for he is the maintainer of the world.
Okay. Is Navina or is she gone?
Yes, I am. Hare Krishna.
Okay, your turn.
81.
81.
The fragment of the Supreme Lord, known as Mahapurusha, appears for the purpose of creation, maintenance, and annihilation, and is called an incarnation. The Mahapurusha is identical with the personality of Godhead. He is the original incarnation, the seat of all others, and the shelter of everything. The Purusha Mahavishnu is the primary incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Time, nature, prakriti, as cause and effect, the mind, the material elements, false ego, the modes of nature, the senses, the universal form, complete independence, and the moving and non-moving beings appear subsequently as his opulences. In the beginning of creation, the Lord expanded himself in the form of the Purusha incarnation, accompanied by all ingredients of material creation. First, he created the 16 principal energies suitable for creation. This was for the purpose of manifesting the material universes. Although the Lord is the shelter of everything, and although all the universes rest in him, he, as the Supersoul, is also the support of everything. Although he is thus connected with the material energy in two ways, he does not have the slightest contact with it. This is the opulence of the Lord. Although situated within the material nature, he is never affected by the modes of nature. Similarly, those who have surrendered to him and have fixed their intelligence upon him are not influenced by the modes of nature. Thus, the Bhagavad Gita also states again and again that the absolute truth always possesses inconceivable power. Lord Krishna said, I am situated in the material world, and the world rests in me, but at the same time, I am not situated in the material world, nor does it rest in me in truth. O Arjuna, you should know that this is my inconceivable opulence. This is the meaning propagated by Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita.
Okay. That Mahapurusha, Karanodakshai Vishnu, is known as the plenary part of him who is Lord Nityananda Balaram, the favorite associate of Lord Chaitanya. I have thus explained the 9th verse, and now I shall explain the 10th. Please listen with rapt attention. I offer my full obeisances unto the feet of Sri Nityananda Ram, a partial part of whom is Garbhodakshai Vishnu. From the navel of Garbhodakshai Vishnu sprouts the lotus that is the birthplace of Brahma, the engineer of the universe. The stem of that lotus is the resting place of the multitude of planets. After creating millions of universes, the first Purusha entered into each of them in a separate form as Sri Garbhodakshai. Entering the universe, he found only darkness with no place in which to reside. Thus he began to consider. Then he created water from the perspiration of his own body, and with that water filled half the universe. The universe measures 500 million yojanas. Its length and breadth are one and the same. After filling half the universe with water, he made his own residence therein, and manifested the 14 worlds in the other half. There he manifested Vaikuntha as his own abode, and rested in the waters on the bed of Lord Shesha. He lay there with the Ananta as his bed. Lord Ananta is a divine serpent having thousands of heads, thousands of faces, thousands of eyes, and thousands of hands and feet. He is the seed of all incarnations and is the cause of the material world. Anyway, it's a little complicated. I hope you understood all that. But Lord Nityananda is a person and he has come to help us get out of the material world. And so in his life, he was born in Ekachakra, which is about 2 hours north of Mayapur, where Lord Nityananda was born. So that Ekachakra, my grandson is actually called Ekachakra. So I went there about, must be 30 years ago, maybe more. And a very beautiful place. At that time, there wasn't really a proper temple there, but since then, there's, I think ISKCON has built a beautiful temple. I remember the place very well because they had beautiful mud houses, the big houses made of big hunks of mud. And they were 2 stories high. They were really nice houses. I don't know what it's like now. I'd like to go back. But so Lord Nityananda was born there. And when he was a young child, he would imitate different pastimes of the Lord. Like when he was very young, him and his friends, they would pretend to be Ram or Ravana, and they would enact all these different pastimes. And so then, well, his father was called Hadai Panda, his mother was Padmavati. And so when he was very young, some saintly person came there, and he asked to take Nitai with him, Nityananda with him. He was just a young boy, maybe 7 years of age. But he was the life and soul of his parents. His parents loved him so much. He was so beautiful. So he went with that person, and he left home forever when he was very young. Hadai Pandit never recovered. He passed away when he left home. So he had his pastimes. Lord Nityananda, there's different books about him. His most famous pastime is probably where he saves Jagai and Madai. So Jagai and Madai, they were the personification of sinful activities. Jagai and Madai, they were actually the sons of a Brahmin family in Navadvip. Navadvip at that particular time, 500 or so years ago, was a very famous place of scholars and pandits. Pandit means wise people or learned people. So at that time, 500 years ago, these two, they were called dacoits. That's what they call like criminals in India, dacoits. Till this day, they were dacoits. So they would go around robbing people and stealing their money and killing people. They ate meat, they ate cows, they killed cows, everything. They used to get drunk every day. So one of Lord Chaitanya's names is Patita Pavana, which means the deliverer of the most fallen. So because in the Kali Yuga, everybody's very fallen and very degraded. But most of us have eaten meat and done different things. So he came in this age to give hope to the degraded people of the Kali Yuga. So in this pastime of saving Jagai Madai, actually, Lord Chaitanya would send out Haridas Thakur and Lord Nityananda together to go and preach. So they would go around and they would beg people, on their hands and knees, please chant Hare Krishna, please give up your sinful activities, please believe in Krishna. So they had noticed Jagai and Madai. Jagai was Jagadananda, Madai was Madhavananda, that was their names. So they had devotee names. So they'd seen, how degraded these people were. And one time they approached them and Jagannath threatened to kill them, and they had to run away. So they went to report to Lord Chaitanya, and Lord Chaitanya said, no, you must go back and preach to them. So, they went back and they approached them, and Madai picked up a clay pot and threw it at Lord Nityananda, and it hit him on the forehead. So, blood flowed profusely, and immediately Lord Chaitanya appeared with his Sudarshan chakra to protect Lord Nityananda. And Lord Nityananda, he pleaded with Lord Chaitanya, please don't kill him, please don't kill him. If you save him, then your status as the savior of the most fallen will become greater. So please let him live. So Lord Chaitanya, he embraced Madai, he embraced the brothers, and he started a kirtan. And he got them all to chant Hare Krishna and dance in ecstasy. And then it's described in great detail, this whole pastime, in the Chaitanya Bhagavat. It's not so much in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. In the Chaitanya Bhagavat describes how the demigods, when they saw the mercy of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, they started to glorify them. And that Yamaraj, who writes down everybody's sinful activities, and at the time of death, everybody has to answer for what they've done, or be punished for what they've done. So Yamaraj, I forgot something. When Lord Chaitanya embraced Jagannath, his body became black because he absorbed all their sins. But he looked very beautiful because he looked like Krishna. His Lord Chaitanya is normally beautiful golden color. So when the sins of Jagannath went into his body, he became very dark, like a beautiful monsoon cloud. And then Yamaraj, the god of death, he was so happy that they had been delivered, because his scribe, who writes down all the different sinful activities of living entities, he had run out of space. His arm was tired from writing down how many sinful activities they had done. So he became so ecstatic. He apparently he was riding on his chariot. It's described in the book here. Where is it? Chaitanya Bhagavat. You should buy this book. Very interesting book. Where is it? So it describes so Lord Chaitanya, he says, the Lord said, these two are no longer drunkards. From today on, these two are my servants. All of you bestow your mercy on these two, so that birth after birth they do not forget me. Forgive whatever offenses they have committed against you and show compassion on them. Hearing the Lord's words, Jagannath fell down at everyone's feet. All the devotees blessed Jagannath, who were then freed from all their offenses. The Lord said, get up, Jagannath. Do not worry, for you are my servants. The prayers that you've offered are certainly true. No one can refute them. What you have experienced is not possible in these bodies. Know for certain that this was simply due to Nityananda's mercy. I have personally taken charge of your sinful reactions. O brothers, see for yourself. In order to demonstrate that there were no more sins remaining in the bodies of these two, the Lord's body turned blackish. And then getting back to Lord Yamaraj. Well, then actually, Lord Chaitanya said that anybody who feeds these two is equivalent to offering all the honey in the universe to the demigods. And then Lord Chaitanya is speaking to the devotees. He says, if you really belong to me, then listen to my order. Whatever you faithfully give these two to eat will be equal to offering with love to Krishna's mouth all the honey available in innumerable universes. Anyone gives these two a small portion of food, gives honey to the mouth of Krishna. So even the most sinful people were, were changed into saints. But they felt bad about it, actually, Jagannath. They felt bad for a long time. And then later on, they were told to build a bathing ghat by the bank of the river Ganges. A bathing ghat is where, because people bathe in the Ganges, people that live near the river Ganges, they take their bath in the Ganga. So Jagannath, they felt really bad about the way they had been. So Lord Chaitanya told them that, you should build bathing ghats so that people can walk down to the Ganga, to the Ganges, and be comfortable. And you should worship them and offer to serve them in whatever way you can. So then it describes the demigods. The demigods were happy too. The demigods headed by the four-headed Brahma and the five-headed Shiva daily came and served Lord Chaitanya. Without the Lord's order, no one could see them as they repeatedly offered service to the Lord. They watched the Lord's pastimes throughout the day, and when the Lord went to bed, they would return home. Okay. Yamaraj would regularly come to see the activities of Lord Chaitanya. Yamaraj asked Chitragupta, that's the scribe who writes down the sins, how many sins did those two commit, and what was the remedy for those sins? Chitragupta replied, oh, right, Yamaraj, listen, what is the use of such a futile endeavor? If 100,000 scribes continually recited for 1 month, they would not easily complete such a task. If you heard them with 100,000 ears, you would not hear the complete account. Your servants constantly narrate the sins of these two, and the scribes are frustrated in their attempts to record them. Your servants would always talk about the sins of these two, and they would be chastised as a result. The servants would say, these two are committing the sins. Our response is to get them recorded. Why should you beat us? If you don't record them, we will be punished. That is why this mountain of records is there for evidence. Anyway, within a moment, Mahaprabhu has freed them from all reactions. Now, if we are ordered, we can immerse all these records. Yamaraj had never before seen such glorious deliverance of fallen souls. They were the ultimate. As soon as Yamaraj heard the words of Chitragupta, he forgot himself due to love of Krishna. He fell unconscious in his chariot, and his body lost all sign of life. His associates, headed by Chandragupta, quickly grabbed hold of him and began to cry. Pretty amazing story. All the demigods were traveling in their chariots and singing the glories of the Lord. Yamaraj's chariot was not moving, however, for its occupant were filled with lamentation. After seeing the deliverance of the two Brahmin demons, everyone was glorifying the nature of that pastime. The demigods headed by Shiva, Brahma, Shesha, and Narada, all glorifying the deliverance of the two. Anyway. Okay, so that's one pastime of Lord Nityananda. So Lord Nityananda, he delivered Jagannath. And there's also a nice song here. This is a song by Narottam Das Thakur. It's a famous song. Lord Nityananda, so what is it? Yeah, is that the one? Okay, this is a beautiful song, Savarana Shigora Pada Padme Pratana, prayer to the lotus feet of Sri Gauranga. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu, Dayakara Mora, Tamagina Kedayaru, Jagat Samsare. Anyway, I'm just going to read a little bit of the translation. This is a famous song that Prabhupada also sings. If you ever listen to Prabhupada singing bhajans, this one he sang. It's a beautiful song. So he gives a purport to this song. So he's discussing the verse that mentions Lord Nityananda. So then he prays the Lord Nityananda. He says, Haha Prabhu Nityananda Premananda Sukhi. My dear Lord Nityananda, you are always joyful in spiritual bliss. Since you always appear very happy, I've come to you because I'm most unhappy. If you kindly put your glance over me, I may also become happy. So we're praying for the glance of Lord Nityananda. And then in another song, very important song, Gauranga Balite Habe, Pulaka Sadira, Hari Hari Bapale. Gauranga Bolite Hebe, that's a beautiful song. So that also mentions Lord Nityananda. So he says, I mentioned this last week, that you will know you've got the mercy of Lord Nityananda when what happens, you know? I mentioned it last week. You have got the mercy of Lord Nityananda when you have no more material desires. So that is a sign that we have got the mercy of Lord Nityananda. So there's also many other pastimes of Lord Nityananda with Lord Chaitanya in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, and also with Raghunath Das Goswami. But one I like is also concerns some robbers, because Lord Nityananda, he was, I'm not sure exactly where he was living, but anyway, he wore beautiful ornaments. Lord Nityananda was very, very beautiful when he was very young. He wore beautiful gold and earrings and blue dhoti, and actually he would jump in the river Ganges where there were a lot of crocodiles, and everyone was afraid for him, but he wasn't afraid at all. He never got harmed, of course. And so Srivas Thakur's wife, her name was Malini. So because he was in the mood of a cowherd boy, even when he was an adult, Lord Nityananda, he would, because he felt himself a cowherd boy, and Malini, he would suck her breast and get milk because he thought he was a cowherd boy. And she couldn't understand how her breast was filling up with milk because she wasn't his mother. But he liked the love, just like Krishna likes to taste the love of his mother Yashoda by drinking her milk. So Lord Nityananda, he dressed very beautifully. He had a lot of ornaments. And one time some thieves, they wanted to steal his ornaments. So they planned to rob him. And he was living in his house. I'm not sure where it was, but there was a whole gang of thieves, and they thought, we'll steal his ornaments and we'll become very wealthy. So the first night, they were going to rob him, and then they saw that his house was being guarded by these very, very powerful, very beautiful guards. And there was no way they could, defeat them. And so the first night they accepted defeat. They left defeat. They left the area. The second night, they were going to rob them, but then suddenly there was a huge storm, and the storm was so bad, and they got completely beaten by the heavy rain and the cold, and so they had to abandon their efforts again. The third night, they tried again. The third night, they were approaching the house where Lord Nityananda was, and they started getting bitten by scorpions and snakes and all kinds of creatures, and then they got enwrapped in the thorn bushes and everything else. And so after the third night, they gave up. trying to rob Lord Nityananda. So the leader of the dacoits, he was a little bit intelligent. He thought, there's something about this person that he's not an ordinary person. I should approach him. So he approached him, he apologized, and he was accepted, and he preached to his followers, and they all became devotees. And then Lord Nityananda told him, you go out and preach to all your other robber friends. And so he became celebrated as a great preacher. He converted so many people. There's just many pastimes of Lord Nityananda. And it's very important to have the mood. Lord Chaitanya told Lord Nityananda to go out and preach. So we should also try to follow his example, finding the most fallen people to preach to. And in that way, we get the mercy of Lord Nityananda, or assisting the preaching somehow or other. Going out, Lord Nityananda also was a wonderful dancer. Wherever Lord Nityananda dances, Lord Chaitanya is there. So we also have to dance in the kirtan. Try to go to the kirtan and dance. Anyway, we have to try to be self-motivated to hear about Lord Nityananda on his appearance day. Maybe spend an hour or two reading about him. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's a whole chapter about Raghunath Das Goswami and how he got the blessings of Lord Nityananda. Because Raghunath Das Goswami is a very important personality. Actually, the author of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, he was blessed. If you read in the first Adi-lila, one of the chapters is how the author got the order to go and write the Chaitanya Charitamrita, actually from Lord Nityananda. So we should read that. It's very important to actually see how great these persons are, and how even not just the direct incarnations of Krishna, but even the personalities who Krishna sends to the material world to describe his activities and pastimes. They're all such special people. And it helps us to be humble to realize how great they are. So anyway, any questions? So that whole chapter about Lord Nityananda, it's a bit technical, but it's important if we can try to understand the different expansions of Krishna, the expansions, the four primary expansions, Vasudev, Sankarshan, Aniruddha, and Pradyumna, and how they expand themselves. And it's all important to know all these things. If you're inclined to read, to study, to learn, it's important. Gives us more faith in the philosophy. It's very interesting. I mean, who could possibly, imagine all this? It's all beyond anybody's imagination.
Which chapter are you referring to for us to read?
Which one? Oh, which verse?
Which chapter is good for us to read for Lord Nityananda?
Well, there's many chapters. There's the one where Raghunath Das gets the mercy of Lord Nityananda. I'll try to find it. Hold on a second. I mean, in the description of Lord Chaitanya dancing at the Rath Yatra, we'll see Lord Nityananda is described there. The Chaitanya Charitamrita, the third, or the Adi-lila, the third part, Adi-lila, there's a chapter there. says here, chapter 6, the meeting of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Raghunath Das Goswami. So there's a lot about Lord Nityananda in that chapter. And in the Adi-lila, there's also a lot about Lord Nityananda, where the Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stay at the house of Advaita Acharya, chapter 3, Adi-lila. I mean, he's scattered throughout many of the parts of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. But I would say that the Chaitanya Bhagavat actually has more pastimes of Lord Nityananda. But there's plenty in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. He's there in many places. Especially, I mean, even in the Adi-lila, the chapter that we just read the verses. There's so much in there. And then it talks about the desire tree of devotional service. This is chapter 9 of the Adi-lila, chapter 10 of the Adi-lila. They describe, well, chapter 11 is the expansions of Lord Nityananda. There's lots to read. There's actually a book by Satyananda and Swami called The Glories of Lord Nityananda. Well, that'll keep you busy for a few months.
We have another question. So I know we have to fast on Lord Nityananda appearance day, Wednesday, but there is also Ekadasi. So when do we have to hold the Ekadasi? Monday or Tuesday? Because the next day you have to break Ekadasi, but then there is fasting. So what do you advise? So what is the best way to go?
Wednesday is the Ekadashi as well as Nityananda's appearance.
No, Wednesday is just or fasting till noon. For Lord Nityananda. But so now I am a little bit confused. When is the Ekadasi? Is it Tuesday? Because if it's Tuesday, then how will you break fast if you have to fast the next day till 12? So that is my question. Or is the fasting Monday? Because I hear so many stories, so I don't know which one is the right.
When actually is the Ekadashi? On Tuesday?
Tuesday.
Yes. But when will we break fast then?
I'll find out. I'll let you know.
Please, if you can text us, then we will share this information amongst each other.
Yeah. All right. I'll find out. Okay.
Thank you.
Good question.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right.
Can you briefly
Other
go over,
questions? Huh?
Hare Krishna, text 27 and 28? I just wanted more clarification of like the Shri, Bu, and the energies.
In the chapter we were reading?
Yes. From text 27 and 28, the Shri, Bu, and Nila energies. I know I could look it up later, but I'm like, what is? Curious to know what it is now.
I hope I know. I might have to do a bit of research. Hold on, 27, 28. The purport is no purport.
Let me see.
Okay, we'll read the verse again. You can read the verse.
She does have a purport.
I mean, read the verse.
Okay. Wait, the Sanskrit verse? Or are we reading just
read the English.
Okay. Krishna's own form has only 2 hands, but in the form of Lord Narayan, he has 4 hands. Lord Narayan holds a conch shell, disc, club, and lotus flower, and he is full of great opulence. The Shri, Bu, and Nila energies serve at his lotus feet.
Okay, well, the purport, let's read the purport. In the Ramanuja and Madhava sects of Vaishnavism, there are extensive descriptions of the Shri, Bu, and Nila energies. I know you need to join them. In Bengal, the Nila energy is sometimes called the Lila energy. You know what Lila means? Lila means pastimes. These 3 energies are employed in the service of 400 Narayan in Vaikuntha, relating how 3 of the Alvas, namely Bhuta Yogi, Sara Yogi, and Branta Yogi, saw Narayan in person when they took shelter at the house of a Brahmin in the village of Gehali, The Prapanamrita of the Sri Sampradaya describes Narayan as follows. They saw the lotus-eyed Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, mounted on Garuda and holding Lakshmi. Well, Sri means Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, to his chest. He resembled a bluish rain cloud with flashing lightning, and in two of his foreheads he held a conch-shaped disc. His arms stretched down to his knees, and all his beautiful limbs were smeared with sandalwood and decorated with glittering ornaments. He wore yellow clothes, and by either side stood his energies, Bhumi and Nila. There is the following reference to the Sri Bhu and Nila energies in the Sri Sitopanishad. Mahalakshmi, the supreme energy of the Lord, is experienced in different ways. She is divided into material and spiritual potencies, and in both features she acts as the willing energy, creative energy, and the internal energy. The willing energy is again divided into three, namely Sri, Bhu, and Nila. Are you any better off now?
Yes. So is Bhumi?
Does it say Bhumi? Let's finish reading the purport. Quoting from the revealed scriptures in his commentary on the Bhagavad Gita, Madhavacharya stated that a mother material nature, which is conceived of as the illusory energy Durga, has three divisions, namely Sri, Bhu, and Nila. Sees the illusory energy for those who are weak in spiritual strength, because such energies are created of Lord Vishnu. Although each energy has no direct relationship with the unlimited, they are subordinate to the Lord because the Lord is the master of all energies. In his Bhagavad Sandarbha, text 23, Srila Jiva Goswami Prabhu states that Padma Purana refers to the eternally auspicious abode of Godhead, which is full in all opulences, including the energies Sri, Bhu, and Nila. The Mahasamhita, which discusses the transcendental name and form of Godhead, also mentions Durga as the potency of the supersoul in relationship with the living entities. The internal potency acts in relation with his personal affairs, and the material potency manifests the three modes. Quoting elsewhere from the revealed scriptures, he states that Sri is the energy of Godhead that maintains the cosmic manifestation. Bhu is the energy that creates the cosmic manifestation. And Nila Durga is the energy that destroys the creation. All these energies act in relation with the living beings, and thus they're together called Jiva Maya. Okay, you get that? At the very end, it kind of described it quite clearly. Okay?
Thank you. Yep. Gotta read the purport.
All right. Anything else?
I just wanted to comment. It was really interesting, the breakdown of the different expansions from Lord Balaram, who the chapter is explaining is non-different from Lord Nityananda, and sort of the magnitude of, because we don't, at least for myself, I don't envision Lord Balaram or Lord Nityananda as this huge person. You know, obviously I see them as God, non-different from Krishna and Lord Chaitanya. But just the fact that this huge Mahavishnu, from whom all of the universes emanate, who must be massive, is only this portion of Lord Balaram. It's just quite amazing.
Yeah, it's all amazing. Right. It is amazing.
I was also wondering, one of the pastimes that I really love about Lord Nityananda, I don't remember it in such great detail, but when Lord Chaitanya is trying, I can't remember where he's going, he's traveling somewhere, and Lord Nityananda is tricking him, thinking he's going along the river, and he thinks it's such a, do you remember that pastime?
They don't want Lord Nityananda and other associates of Lord Chaitanya don't want Lord Chaitanya to go to Vrindavan. He's in Bengal. They don't want him to leave them and go to Vrindavan. So somehow or other they trick him, because, you know, Lord Chaitanya is always kind of in a state of ecstasy, and he forgets himself. He forgets where he is and what he's doing. So they trick him into thinking that he's in the river Jamuna when he's actually in the river Ganges, which is on the other side of India. So he's satisfied I read it the other day. I can't remember the details, but you know, it's
Chapter
I
of the
can
Madhya Lila.
huh?
I think
Which
it's chapter 8 of Madhya Lila.
Madhya, right? Well, that's good if you get that right. Yeah, she might be right. What's the name of the chapter? It might. I think it might be the Lord
I just read it.
No, it's not it's not chapter 8, Madhya. Might be chapter 7 of the Lord begins his tour of South
Maybe
India.
chapter. Oh, it is chapter 7.
Anyway,
We just started.
I'll find it.
It's chapter 3, Guru Maharaj.
Chapter 3.
Mahaprabhu stays at the house of.
Oh yeah, that's the one. That's what it is. It's chapter 3. At least you got the Madhya Lila right part, Naveen. Yeah, it's chapter 3. In his Amrita Prabha, Bhasya Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives the following summary of the 3rd chapter. After accepting the sannyas order at Katwa, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu travel continues for 3 days in Radhadesh, by the trick of Nityananda Prabhu eventually came to the western side of Shantipur. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was induced to believe that the river Ganges was Jamuna. When he was worshipping the sacred river, Advaita Prabhu arrived in a boat. That's when they took him to Advaita Acharya's house, and Advaita Acharya fed them both. And there's a lot of pastimes between them there. Okay, so you can read that. It's very interesting. Okay, so anything else? Okay, thanks for coming, everybody. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj.
Try to remember to dance on Wednesday. And Lord Nityananda's appearance day. Sid, you have to dance on Wednesday.
Yes.
You just had a pacemaker put in, Sid. How are you feeling?
I'm still a little woozy. It's only been a couple days.
Yeah. Well, if you leave your body in a kirtan, you go back to Godhead.
Well, let's see if I can arrange that.
Okay. All right. Anyway, we'll see you soon. Probably next week. I don't know about next week because maybe next week. Yeah. I'll be in Miami, flying to India the next day. All right. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Jai
And
Shri
Jai.
Versus Prabhupada.
Jai Nitai.
Jai.
Jai.
Jai. His Grace AdiKarta Prabhu ki Jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Bo.
Hare
Have a good
Bo.
day.